So what up, good people? It's your boy C. Maurice Ball, and we in the building. Y'all know what we do, how we do it. Hey, when y'all see the thing scroll at the bottom, please like and subscribe. Y'all know how we get down. But today we are on location, y'all. This is our first on location joint, and I am like crazy excited about this amazing couple and their friend that's been rocking forever, and they have one of the dopest spots in the area when it comes to cigar bars. So without further ado, let's meet this amazing couple that has came in and changed the game over here in Southern Indiana. How y'all doing?
Doing great, doing great. Thank you so much, Mr. Mo, for having us. We appreciate you.
Oh man, I appreciate y'all letting me come in to set up. Eventually, I'm gonna do a pan around so that everybody can see how nice this is on the inside, and let everybody know that this place is dope. But before we get to all that, how y'all doing?
Good. Doing amazing.
Doing good. Everybody good?
Yes, doing great.
Doing great.
Minds and hearts are clear.
Yeah.
Amen. So y'all been in business together for how long?
30 years or so.
30 plus years. Since 1998. We opened up Big City Styles in downtown Louisville in 1998 on First Street. God blessed us. We opened up at 114 First Street, and then we moved around to 2nd Street, 124 Main Street, 2nd and Main, and then we went 1, 2, 3 over to 3rd Street. So then we was at 312 Chestnut Street, and we had Big City Styles in the downtown Louisville overall for 27 years. So a lot of people like to say, hey, this must be 1st, 2nd, 3rd. We must be coming around the home base. This must be the home run here in Clarksville, Indiana.
Yeah. So y'all got out of Louisville and came over to the other side.
Sunny side.
To the easy, we mosey over here. You know what I'm saying? It's a fast pace across the bridge. So 30 years in business together.
That's right.
Y'all been married 30 years?
98. Well, 98? We're coming up on 30 years.
Coming up on 30.
In 28 years. Will be 30 years.
Wow. That's an accomplishment all in itself. Minus the business. 30 years of marriage.
Right.
Now, how did y'all meet?
Oh, man. You want to tell the story?
Well, I was a baby.
Right. Well, you ever heard of Movies Plus? That might be before your time. We're a little older than you, Mo, but Movies Plus was a place where you could go rent out movies and buy music and things of that nature. And I never even had a job, not even a job similar to that, but someone told me to, go apply at Movies Plus to get me a job while I was in barber school, tells you how long ago this was. So I left with Movies Plus. I left with Movies Plus a wife, so I'll just say, God led me to work there at Movies Plus, and I met Sondra. We quickly became friends. She was in nail school, and hey, I was in barber school. So, God had a plan. From the jump, after we began to court each other and become an item, God blessed us to open up Big City Styles, where, of course, I was the barber and she was the nail tech, and it grew from there.
Is that how the story goes?
That's in a nutshell. So, we were working separately for years, doing out of barbershop in Victory Park. And I think I was working at Panay's. It was a nail salon. I think it was the first Black-owned nail salon in West Louisville. And, so we were married at the time, I'm pretty sure. And then it was a time where Julius was like, I really like barbering. I don't so much like going to work in West Louisville in Victory Park, which was at the time was pretty rough. It was pretty rough. It wasn't anything to hear about a shooting on any particular day during the daytime. And so it was pretty rough, stressful to go to work all day in that environment. So what Julius decided was, what we conversated about, what he said to me was, I want to open my own barbershop. I want to open up my own barbershop, and I want it to be a different environment. I want it to be a relaxing space where people can come and unwind, get away from the day for a period of time. Something professional, something inclusive, um, multicultural. So, so that it would be easy and inviting for all people of all walks of life, social backgrounds. And so he said, I also wanted to be centrally located. So we thought about where in Louisville, where we lived at the time, where could we put it that would be central to the different clientele that he had. He had clients from all over Louisville, Kentucky. Um, and so we settled on downtown Louisville. Real estate at that time was pretty inexpensive, so that was good rent. It was definitely a ghost town, so it seemed like, why would you open up a barbershop in the middle of nowhere? A place that was not um,
It
very
was
active.
developing.
Yeah, it was. It was redeveloping because
Hmm.
at one time Louisville downtown was really busy and hopping, but at that time it was nothing. It was before the Yum Center. Um,
So sorry.
and stuff like that. So anyway, um, he wanted to open up a professional space in a central location, um, and we did. I said, well, I'll try to start looking for places. Um, Turns out that I wasn't the one who actually found the place that we settled on. It was another young lady who's a good friend of both of ours, and so I was like, oh, okay. But she did a great job finding a good space for us. Julius worked on it for quite some time, for quite a while, and put a lot of good effort into creating a good space, and ran across some challenges. I guess kind of close to the end of getting it ready, or was it more in the middle when
Hmm.
we ran into these plumbing challenges? So it's downtown Louisville. So you got to imagine downtown Louisville. A lot of the buildings have these huge basements. You don't see them because most people don't go down into those spaces.
Hmm.
It's muddy.
Hmm.
It's cavernous. It's close to the river, so it's just gross. And so what we ran into in that space was a plumber that told Julius at that time, "You're never going to have a barbershop in this space." Now this is when we're halfway into the project, remodeling the space. And he says, "You can't have a barbershop here." Well, too many dollars and too much time has been put into this to have to
Right.
think about it's not going to happen. Speaking to the nature of who this guy is, tenacity,
Hmm.
resilience. He's not backing down from any kind of challenge. He's going to see his way through. And most of the time, with the help from the Almighty, because that's who the ultimate power is.
Amen.
And so, um, with a lot of prayer from a good woman,
Come on.
I'm not even speaking to myself at the time. Although I probably put up some prayers too. His grandma was very, very integral in getting those prayers through, and and so we were able to overcome that challenge and open up the space. Well, and at the time, I actually was only playing the background. I wasn't supposed to be in the barbershop working. I was supposed to be just being the supportive wife at home. But on the first week, or first day, week, I'm not sure, I called, well, I think Julius called me. He's like, hey, just checking in the midday. How's it going? I was like, yeah, it's going good. How's it going for you? How's first day going? He was like, well, you wouldn't believe this. My nail tech didn't show up because at the time he had decided to hire a nail tech. I was going to just work where I was working at. And
We had little kids at the time, so
yeah,
she just kind of wanted to be a
Okay.
stay-at-home mom and
I dig
handle
it.
that kind of business. But long and short, my nail tech didn't show up, and we had a conversation on. I said, you ought to consider coming on in and being the nail tech here. He said something, and at that time it probably sounds scary coming to work with your husband all day long.
I was going.
Go home
Yeah.
with your husband
Yeah.
all day
Yeah.
long, and then repeat the next day.
I was
Yeah.
nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was definitely nervous. I called my mom after Julius and I got off the phone, and I was like, Mom, so this happened. Julius called me. He's like, want me to think about working at the barbershop with him. And I said, I'm really nervous about that. I'm scared that it'll ruin our marriage, just to be speak frankly. I thought it would ruin our marriage. We were going to be spending all that time together and then have to go home together. And then maybe we were going to be sick of each other. I don't know. But I didn't think it was going to be a good thing. But my mom, in her wisdom and motherly way, said, why don't you just try it? And if it doesn't work out, get a job. And I was like, I guess that's a thought. So I did. Just took that leap, tried it, and
We've
And
been
it
working
worked out.
together all these
So
years.
so I understand. My wife and I opened a salon a while back, and I was working in there then as a just a handy guy, you know. So how do you find the balance at that being newly married? Do y'all both come from two parent homes that gave y'all both good models of what marriage looks like? Oh, so y'all was already winning in that point. But how did y'all switch on from business man and
Mm.
businesswoman to wife
Mm-hmm.
in the minute of those opportunities where, yeah, I got something that I do with plumbing, but I also got something to do at the house. And how did y'all work that out when y'all were with the switch? I know what I did. I just broke my switch and kept it in businessman mode. I was like, it's too much trying to switch on husband and wife,
Mm-hmm.
businessman. So I just stayed in businessman because I stayed in husband, my wife would have ran over me.
Right, right.
that is
That's a good
that
question.
it is
I mean, I think a lot of
invalid.
it stems from the fact that we were friends. You know,
Okay.
Sondra and I were friends first.
Yeah.
Before we jumped into business together, we actually liked each other. We enjoyed being around each other. I could tell a few different stories of how God showed us early on that anything we did together, He would bless. So, I just noticed that, anything that we did together, God would, make it fruitful. And, Big City Styles in 1998 just, was no difference. You know what I'm saying? We jumped in with both feet. And like Sandra said, I'm a pretty hard headed cat, and I had made my mind up that we wasn't going to go back. It's only forward, so we just, dug in and made sure we kept putting keeping the ball rolling. We always like to say the ball might slow down sometimes, but just don't let it come to a halt. Just keep the ball rolling, and slowly but surely, we began to break ground, and people started to gravitate to the concept of having a barbershop in downtown Louisville. At the time, like Sandra mentioned, we didn't even really know we wanted to open where we wanted to open up our business. But a lot of our friends was opening up. A lot of my close friends were opening up barbershops in their parts of town or in the west end of Louisville. But we wanted to be a little different. We wanted to show excellence. We wanted to show at the time there wasn't a black owned establishment or barbershop in the downtown Louisville area that allowed people to see that we are what we claim to be. Uh, Excellence. We are cleanly. We're respectful. We are honest. In opening up Big City Styles in downtown Louisville and began to develop different resources and relationships with different people that we still have in place 30 years later, it just proved to, be something that, was needed for the masses. There's a lot of people, in my opinion, who um, were uh, influenced by the what it is that we were able to do. And to this day, we still hear people say, "Man, what it is that you guys are doing with the Bay Cigar Lounge here in 2020, was it 26? Uh, they're still saying, hey, you guys are really, really influential, and we are, you inspire us." So.
And just to be frank about how does that work, because I think a lot of people wonder that. That's a common
Mm-hmm.
question, whether it's always verbalized or not. It's a common question of how does this work, and they do this all day every day, huh? And so I think one of the things that I think is divine design. And so it's always been in each of the locations, we have space between us physically.
Yeah,
And I think that that matters.
for sure.
So typically in the barbershop, Julius would always work the front space. The barbershop, the way it was set up, he would always be in the front space. So the barbershop would always be in the front, and then you go back into the space to get to the nail salon, wherever in each location. So whenever there would be those times of tension, it happens with people, real people.
Mhm.
We just retreat to our spaces. I'll be in the front, you'll be in the back. Or
Mhm.
you'll be in the front, I'll be in the back. Until we could just recalibrate and say, okay, hey, all right, let's talk about that, or let's not talk about that. Let's fix that. Let's address that, adjust that, or whatever, and then bring a new day to, you know, I should say, bring new mercies to each day, because not only are we allowed new mercies, but we should also give new mercy. We should also each day strive to forgive whatever was the offense. And so that we've spoken a couple different times about spirituality, spiritual things. That is the core of our relationship. That is the absolute foundation of it. So it's always going to come back to that for us in whatever we're doing. And that's actually one of the things that um, attracted me to Julius in the first place. When we first met, I just sensed the easiness about connecting with him, like just talking with him, being around him. I was just like, So it was like, to me, what I call a familiar spirit. And the familiar spirit was the Holy Spirit. That
Mhm.
is what binds us. That's what connects us. That's our foundation. It is the thread that runs through everything we do.
That is a great foundation to have. You see a lot of people that are not able to. That I see people that love God, be married, but not have that foundation. Y'all figure something out. Y'all need to put that thing in a package and sell it, because it's some married folk out here right now that need to go ahead and get a sip of that. So, how important do y'all believe having the models of y'all parents played in your? Because did y'all both have fathers in the house?
Yes, definitely, definitely.
Okay, how important do you think one having the example of a married couple played, and then having the male father, having that father presence in the home, have cultivated y'all's relationship? How important do how
Priceless.
Yeah.
It's
priceless?
priceless.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know.
I think Julius is an excellent leader for our home. Um, that's one of the things that made it easy for me to get behind him, to
Hmm.
under him, to submit to his authority. Is that he knew what leadership was, um, and he did it, does it. Um, I think with reverence. So because he respects the Lord, it's easy for me to respect him.
For sure.
For he trusts the Lord, I trust him. It's easy. And I say that so loosely because easy is
It's
relative.
relative,
It's
right?
relative.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it definitely makes a difference when there's tough times, when it's like, I'm not sure about this, or I have a different opinion about it, or I think strongly about this way. For me to ultimately say, you know what, whatever you say, let's do it. At the end of the day, many times I take it up with the Lord. I actually just be like, I don't know what is going on
Right.
here, but okay, you got us, right?
Right.
You got us. So, and anybody who does trust the Lord, they know it doesn't fail.
That's true.
It doesn't fail.
We
We've said it a time or two. It's kind of our running joke. We say that, we may have the formula. We may have a formula that works. But at the end of the day, it's more so just we all have issues. We all have resistance sometimes. But when you have that, you have to be able to have a formula in place. Take it before the Most High, pray on it, go to sleep on it, wake up the next morning with some direction, and you may basically laying it at the master's feet and trusting that he's going to
Trust.
give you, direction and counsel on the next day. That's kind of what we've always done, just taking it to the Most High and allowing God to tell us what it is and how He wants us to move.
Yeah, a lot of
when
times
y'all
that's
start
scary.
your church.
Right?
Yeah, no, I'm
I'm
serious.
telling you.
And we have talked about that before. We haven't done. We talked about that.
I mean, I've been walking with God for 26 years, and I still be like, boy, God, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
this what?
No, that's
Shoot.
serious. That's serious, and that's real talk. And it is like that. It
Right.
is like that.
Right.
I mean. I think it's like that more for me than it is for Julius. I don't know how he brings such resolve to every situation. I'm usually the one who's way more like frazzled about a thing. But at the end of those moments, that is what I'm gonna frazzle out to the Lord about it, and then He's gonna bring me back to peace and say, "Trust the man that I sent you."
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
at the end of the day, she brought up the word. She used the word a moment ago, submission. But it was her that kind of helped me to understand that you break down that word sub, meaning under, and getting under my mission. And she's always done so since day one. No matter what it is that I've always wanted to do, and trust me, I'm the one who thinks I can jump off of this building and land on that builder over across the street. But it takes somebody who can keep you grounded.
Absolutely.
And get up under your mission and help you believe that you can do all things too. Of course, through Christ, but also having somebody right there to confirm word, who can tell you on a daily basis that, okay, baby, we can do this, we can make this happen. It's priceless, and that's in hindsight. I mean, look, even now, that's what it is that we taught and teach our sons. We have 3 boys, and they all are grown now with families of their own, ladies married, and doing their own things. But hopefully that's what they received from us as parents, and now they know they can do it all.
As examples.
Yeah, we can see it in them. I mean, 2 of our sons, the younger 2, they jumped right out of high school into marriage. Like, it was like, and it was like, wow, you guys, huh? So, didn't mean to set you up like that, So,
and even my
but they're
oldest
doing well.
is engaged and considering marriage now. So they all know how important it is to have a strong woman behind you.
100%. I have my wife is y'all built the same, right? So there is nothing that I have put out there that she ain't never said no to. Now there came a point to where she was like, "You cannot start any more businesses." She was like, "You can't start," especially after I failed. I had the pressure washing company. Then it rained for like 3 weeks straight in Atlanta. So all I had was pressure washing equipment just sitting in the garage. And every time we go in the garage, she'd look at that equipment and look at me and just look at that equipment and look at me. And I was like, then she was like, "You can't start nothing else."
Right,
so,
right.
but there's a lot of people that watch y'all from a distance, and people watch your fruit. You know what I'm saying? Like, your kids, they become examples. They may not get it right off the bat, but they see the examples that you set forth. They see how you interact, how you handle her. So then it becomes the example of how they handle their women, and then they see how it should look. Like, "Oh, you don't look like my mama." Right.
But
The bar is set high.
You mentioned failure, and allowing your seeds to even see. Our son saw daddy try things that didn't always work,
Right.
So we allowed them to see us fail, but how you are able to somewhat take the sting out of failure too. How you get up and dust yourself off. You might fall 8 times, but you got to get up 9.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They've seen daddy jump up and say, "Okay, it didn't work. I'm gonna dust myself off and jump back in the ring and go back at it." And you got to learn at some point, like I said a moment ago, just how to really take the sting out of failure, so that at some point you really have no doubt that you can overcome anything that may come across as resistance.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, because this place is an example of itself, how much resistance we ran into. We had this place for 2 years before we even were able to open the doors.
Yeah, let's take a journey down the yellow brick road. Down. At what point did y'all say, "Okay, I'm tired of," or the seasons shifted from barbering full time and doing nails to having a passion for cigars? What birthed this?
It's funny you asked that question. I'm smoking on an Espada cigar here. Espada is a hybrid. It's actually a Monte Cristo and a Placentia. It's a mixture of 2. Well, the Bay is a mixture and was birthed of 2 different things as well: Big City Styles and the Soul Lounge. Lounge. We used to do something called the Soul Lounge for 10 years. From 2007 to 2017, we brought a lot of great artists to Louisville, Kentucky. Layla Hathaway, Stokely Williams of Mint Condition, Eric
Mhm.
Robeson,
Mhm.
Walter Beasley, or Noel Jordan, Kanye Dawes, Carmen Rogers. I can go on and on. A lot of great artists, but I only say that to say God utilized the different businesses that we were blessed with, Big City Styles, being a comfortable place, a place where people could come and look for peace. He also utilized the Soul Lounge, which Sondra helped me to birth, to, kind of in the realms of music. The music we found to be another unifier, and created peace. Um, the Soul Lounge helped us to build relationships in corporate and with individuals, resources and relationships, building from those. So I think both of those businesses together came to unify and birth forth the Bay. Of course, as we came to the end of our have a sip. As we came to, I always said by the time I turned 55 years old, I wanted to retire. I've been standing on my feet, cutting hair at, for years upon years. And I just really wanted to, do something different. But I wanted it to be something that kind of, was hospitable
Mhm.
as Big City Styles was. I also wanted it to be something that would lend itself to music the way that the Soul Lounge did. So we, at 55 years old, we all set subliminal alarms for ourselves, whether we know it or not. And that subliminal alarm went off, and I said, "Hey, I'm supposed to be doing something." I made myself a promise that I wanted to retire at 55. It's time for me, to go ahead and step into that. So, here we are. God woke me up out of my sleep one day, and we rode down the street, and I found this building. I could show you on. I recorded myself walking through here for the very first time before uh, anything. But my very first time seeing this place. But God's vision is real. As I'm walking through here, I'm saying, man, this is where the assembly area is going to be. This is where the bar is going to be. This is where my office is going to be. I'm going to put the barbershop right here. This is where the VIP room is going to be. This is what, he pretty much gave me the full vision my very first time walking through. And I can show you on the video where we walked through for the very first time. And it blows my mind to see that everything that we spoke on the very first time. Hey, and Chris, if you guys don't know, Chris is the manager here at the Bay, and he's been here since day one. He's the one that every one of these walls up high, and all the ones, at the corners, the crevices down to the low spots. Chris helped to, cultivate and make this place what it is. He has ownership, blood, sweat, and tears in here. Me and Chris was on a 25-foot lift painting the inside of this building ourselves. A funny story: a guy was going to charge me $8,000 to paint the inside of this building. Me and Chris was like, "You want to jump in and let's make it happen? Let's do it ourselves." And we decided to jump into it and do it. But halfway through, I would have paid somebody $20,000 to paint the inside of this building. No. Hey, the guy, and he told you, he said, "Hey man, I'll charge you $8,000." So Jew put his hand on the hip. He said 8,000. So I looked at Jew and he looked at me. I said, "Jew, when he leave, I think we can do this whole thing ourselves." And I was playing when I said it, but we ended up doing it, most of it ourselves, with some help, of course. But most of it's probably 95% of it is me and him. That is commitment. That is commitment. So why a cigar lounge and not a salt spa or a a hookah lounge or something like that? What made y'all go into cigars? Okay, because that's not normally a. I'm gonna be a stereotypical here, and for the most part,
you don't see black people doing cigar stuff. Like, it's become something over the last probably 5 years. When I really started getting around it and started seeing more of them pop up. But what was what was that thing that said, yeah, we're gonna do cigars?
Well, I want to jump on just one moment.
Yeah.
We had went down to Miami for Black Smoke back in 2019. 2019 of September.
Mm-hmm.
Juice said, hey, uh, go down Miami with me. Me and some guys. I was like, you and some guys? He said, yes, we're going to go to a big old compound house, 18 rooms.
Man.
I was like, okay. So we went down there. I've been smoking cigars since my mid-20s. And we went one place. At one place was a walk-in humidor, huge, barbershop, and a nightclub. And I'll never forget Julius's face when he was standing by the cash registers. And I said, Jew, do you see this place? And he says, I see this place. I see this place. And he stayed in that one position almost 10 minutes. Just looking at everything. And you take it from her, Jew. I swear.
Yeah.
Take it from her.
Just having known Julius for, a few decades, he does have extraordinary vision. He talks to me about when he was a child, and some people can remember it was a cartoon, and it was called Simon. And, the things that Simon would draw would come true. And that's kind of how I would describe you. He can envision a thing, and what he sees in the vision, he creates. And I find it fascinating. So most of the time, I'm just along for the ride. Like, just let me see where this goes.
Right.
I mean, what else are we doing here in the world? Some stuff is to be taken serious, but the most part, it's like, hey, we get one time around. Let's just do it. Like, let's get in there and let's have some fun with it. See what happens. It gets scary sometimes, like a roller coaster. It gets scary sometimes. You get shook up sometimes. You might even come off with a headache or something. But at the end of the day, you're like, that was a wild ride. That was a wild ride. So I do know, me prior or pre Sondra Wilkerson, very reserved, very like just, neat in the box. Don't have to have a lot of frills, lace, excitement. Just, hey, routine gets it done. But since saying I do, it has been an adventure. Like, I think that each day is an adventure. It's I don't know what's going to happen in each day. I don't know what he's going to come up with. It's like, hey, I got it. Here's what we're going to do. They're like, okay, let me get a seatbelt. But it's fun. I'm glad to still find it fun, and not be annoyed. But I think that's some of just going back to the foundation of our upbringing, that you just don't think so highly of yourself, So if I thought so highly of myself, then I couldn't get under his vision. I couldn't, deny myself enough to say I could support you. It would be about me, and if that's not working for me, then we're not doing that,
For sure.
Or I'm not going to help you with it, and so I just not. So kind of going back to your question of what was home life like for you as a child growing up to where you get to be this person as an adult, and that's how I saw it in my home. My dad he's not an entrepreneur or anything like that, but he's wild and fun and crazy and does weird stuff, and my mom is very reserved and resolved, and she's just like, all right, but she's along for the ride. She's totally committed to the cause. And I didn't always know what I was looking at as a child. I thought, Mom, for real, but now as an adult, I'm like, oh,
That thing worked out a little bit.
That's how you do that.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember asking her, when she and Dad got to being 50 years in marriage, and I was like, Mom, how do you do 50 years though? Yeah, that's how I was looking. How your face looks, that's how I was looking. And I was like, Mom, how you do 50 years? And she was like, one day at a time.
That's it.
And I was like, oh, well,
That's right.
like I said, that's my mom. She just go.
Right.
And it's like, oh, duh. You know?
Right.
One day at a time.
Yeah. And that is facts, how you
Yeah,
do it one day
that
at a
is.
time.
But to kind of go back to, on the surface, answer your question in regards to the cigars and how we came for a love for cigars. Um, Back when, and we're going to be straight up real and all the way real here, right?
I would hope so.
Okay, great. So, long and short, when we used to do the Soul Lounge, after the Soul Lounge was over every single night, we had a gentleman by the name of Soul Brother Cole. That's the gentleman who got me smoking cigars, Papa Cole. Well, Papa Cole, he worked the door. So, once I would get the Soul Lounge show, I'll go to the mic, get all the poets and all the visual and performing artists in place and let them get the show started. I'm going out to the car real quick because I already got the show started, and I'm just going to go ahead and see one of my left hands. I'm just being straight up real. I was a young man at the time. Long and short, he was like, "Where you going out there? You going out there again? When you going to let me put you on one of these cigars?" I was like, "I don't need no cigar. I got my stick." What I'm saying? Long and short. So one evening after the Soul Lounge, we would go out to the back area. We called it the Cigar Garden. The cigar garden, that's where everybody wanted to go back and smoke their cigars after the show was over. We would have people coming in from Cincinnati, Atlanta, St. Louis, Indianapolis, people coming in from everywhere. So they wasn't rushing back. They wanted to sit and at the after party. The after set was always amazing at the Soul Lounge. So we going back to the cigar garden to have a cigar this particular evening. And I just, long story short, it got me. I smoked me a cigar. And, it was probably somewhere around 2007, 2008, maybe 2009. But I was like, I like this. I like the whole culture of it.
This guy had a whole alter ego when smoking cigars. I did not know what was going on. I was like...
Because, the left hand ones had me always super chill. It was just my creative side.
It brings you down.
Right. But the cigar kind of showed a different side of myself. I mean, I'm still a creative cat. I still am very creative. I draw. I like Sondra said, I like to think if anything I draw, I can make it come true. I can draw you sitting on the couch look just like you. But long and short, it just the cigar itself allowed me to, it enhanced me in areas. And I always say that that's what a good cigar does. If you're having a steak dinner, it's going to enhance that. If you're in the midst of a good cocktail, it'll enhance that. Good company. If you're sitting around good company, cigar will help to enhance the good company that you're sitting around. So it just enhanced me in areas. I no longer even mess with the left hand ones anymore.
Right.
I'm proud to say that. Maybe every once in a while I might see some, but for the most part, I'm a lover of the leaf here. I really enjoy my cigars. I know if we just keeping it all the way real, I got to keep it real on the podcast with Brother Mo here.
So we have a member. Tell about we have a member, and he's not a real cigar guy. So he has in his locker, back in his locker, in the boarding room, he has some Cohiba Vehicles, and he didn't know what he had. I was like, man, these are some nice cigars, and I was like, it's gonna make your legs feel weak. this is a big guy. I remember it's a big guy. About an hour later, he was in the back, and he said, "Hey, Chris, my legs feel weak."
So I'm not a cigar smoker. And I'm like, you know what? I might want to try it. But here's the thing. I can't taste anyway, so it doesn't. So I've messed around and swallowed the smoke and passed.
I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
I've been passed out of here. Y'all gotta put the boy chest.
Right.
Get that man back alive over here.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I do tell everybody that that they need to come over here. This is dope. I had the opportunity to kind of do a little something in here over the summer, so it is really, really laid back. It is really chill. It's a vibe, y'all. So when y'all come to this area, you definitely got to pull up. And we have an event coming up in May called the TikTok Takeover. And this is the this is the spot for Friday night that we're going to be hanging at, and it's going to be content creators coming from all over the country, 3 million followers that total between all of us, and they're really excited because I was like, hey, y'all got us, because I had some pictures that I took,
Yeah.
and I sent them some pictures, and they was like, oh man, this is gonna be dope. I'm like, yeah, this is the elite Uber
Right.
apex, like the apex, and so everybody's excited. So we're gonna take a tour, and then we're gonna come back. What y'all think about that?
Sounds good. Just because I don't think that we really spoke about this part, and I'm not sure where it would fit in or not, but just goes back to the question that you just asked prior when you said, how do you transition from the barbershop to now a cigar lounge? What was that process like? Or
Mhm.
what brought that on? And I think that one of the things that Julius and I like to do, even with the barbershop, was just present an elevated experience. It's important to us that it's not just what's already happening or what's already being done. We want to see, how can you take that up a notch? What can we do to enhance that? We don't really care too much about the basic. We want to see more. So
Very good
we
point.
try to bring a little bit more to whatever we do.
And in this area, I'm telling you, for y'all, when y'all watch, this is the spot. There's nothing like this in this area. Period. And I love that. I love the vibe, y'all. Like it is a vibe in itself. But it's not only that, because you could have a great location and have terrible people, and then that makes the place terrible. So not only is it a good place, you could tell that the spirit that's in here is a good spirit, and you could come in here and just chill and relax. And there has not been a time that I've been in here that I was just like, well, man, now this is crazy. Now it's been an experience all the time. But if I just track y'all's record, just track y'all have always been creating experiences.
Exactly.
So this could be making stuffed animals, and it'll still be the experience because y'all are in the business of customer service.
Yes.
When you're a barber, when you are when you're an artist in the nail tech and artistry, that's art.
Yeah.
And you got to deal with people on all levels. You got to be able to deal with the hardcore person that don't want to act right, but you still got to show kindness to them. And then you got to deal with the person that is, that is like, man, you need to get a backbone. But y'all deal with people on the spectrum, and y'all been doing it for years. So it doesn't matter what the craft is. Right. The culture is in you and in y'all. So it creates a very good culture.
Well, we're really big on respect. My dad taught me if you give respect, you can always demand it. So, we are very respectful to all of our guests that come through here. We treat them as if the way we want to be treated. We have a great team. Like you've already met Chris. Chris is a great in the realms of making sure that everyone is comfortable here. Hospitality. And, he just has love for this place the same way that me and Sondra does. So our staff here is, has the same goals in place that we have.
That's important.
It's very important. It really is.
I mean, even our bar staff, everybody in the space that works in the space understands the concept of service without having to teach it to them. It's part of who they are. You can just tell it in the way that they serve. And different ones serve different ways, but it's all service. And I think that still ties back to our relationship I was thinking about it as you were pointing out service and as Julius was speaking about service. And I was like, well, that's actually it. The thread that runs through our relationship as well. We serve each other.
Mm-hmm.
We just
do. 50,000 personalities.
Oh my goodness.
We always have one.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Try to stay as consistent as possible.
That's right.
Consistency is the key.
And these two are very consistent. I'm going to change up.
Yeah.
But that's
the nature of the woman.
I would expect that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You start getting like them, I'm like, oh.
That's right.
What's going on?
That's the yin and the yang, what kind of, the negative and the positive that kind of creates us being how God moves us, the movement,
So what's the next big thing that the Bay is going to produce? What if y'all can share some of the nuggets, or if you can't, I get it, because sometimes you can't talk.
Big thing.
Sometimes you can't talk about that stuff until till God releases you. But what's the next big thing? What are we looking at? What we doing with
the Soul Lounge?
Yeah, that's going to be cool.
Yeah.
But I would say, and each of us might say something different, because Chris said Soul Lounge. I'm not sure what Julius had ready to say, but Derby Week is our next big thing.
Yeah.
Derby's going to be
Derby Week. We're doing Derby Week. Like Derby is a day,
but
we're doing the week. There's going to be
so we're gonna have some day parties.
A week, yes. There's a week worth of stuff we got lined up at the Bay for people who enjoy the cigar culture, whether they're visiting from out of state or whether they're here locally, and also for people who don't smoke cigars. We've got it planned and ready and to have a good time.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I'm going to slide on up in here.
Yeah.
Of course. That's for the Brothers of the Leaf and also definitely the Sisters of the Leaf.
Yeah.
But it's also put together for those individuals who don't necessarily smoke cigars.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just like to mention this real quick. I think it's worth the mention because, sometimes ladies won't go to a cigar lounge because they believe that maybe the smoke is going to overwhelm them, being their hair, this, that, and another.
Right.
But we have went to great lengths to put this place together to where it does combat the smoke. Yes. Of course, you probably already realized we call this place the Bay because we have these beautiful bay doors that you've seen in some of the footage here. When we open up those bay doors in the spring and summer months that we're now approaching, and we should have for Derby, you have absolutely zero smoke in this place. Sure. We also are blessed to have these 25-foot high ceilings that allow us to, of course, combat a lot of the smoke. The fans. We also have 2 of these 4-ton scrubbers back here in these units here that scrub and push out 4 tons of smoke and bring in 4 tons of fresh air per hour. Also, we have these exhaust fans up here that we put in that no one else even has. Very, very few people go to the extent of putting these types of exhaust fans in. You know about it.
I might have seen one or two.
Brother Mo did some work over here when helping us get open over here. So, we put these exhaust fans in, and when you cut those on, they just pull out smoke. So we went to great lengths to make sure that, for one, the ladies will be comfortable when they come in here. Of course, this is a cigar lounge. There's going to be smoke in the air
for sure.
But ultimately, we do have a really good system in place here that helps to navigate and combat, a lot of the smoke. Make sure that you're not sitting in a cloud of smoke at any time.
Yeah, you and Sondra sit over before we opened up. We blow smoke in the air just to see where it goes.
Just watch it,
How to do the fans.
This is 5,000 square foot. So it took a long time for us to really learn how to navigate this. I like to look at it as a ship. You have to learn as the captain, you have to learn how to navigate this huge ship. So sometimes we would have to learn how to turn one fan this way, hit the exhaust fan on medium in this room, and the other room you pushing and you pulling, and we had to really learn how to sail this ship. And I think we pretty much have it down now. But as we go into the spring and summer months, when we can open up these bay doors for Derby, it's going to be incredible. We're going to have people coming in and out for our Derby festivities. Like Sondra said, for the entire week, we have something awesome planned every day for Derby. Different artists coming in for live entertainment. The word is, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but we hear about some of the celebrities that come to town for Derby that will be sliding through here. You never know. Might have a big name celebrity who might say, "Hey, Mr. Wilkerson, I'd like to have that whole back room there." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm gonna say, "Hey, I definitely can allow you to utilize the space, but our members have full access to this place. As long as you don't have a problem, Mr. Michael Jordan, with our members utilizing that space with you, then you're welcome to have it."
Hey, but that right there levels the playing field for the everyday person that will never reach that caliber of success, that they're able to come in and be treated just as equal as the person who has reached the pinnacle of his career and is the GOAT to some of us in that sport. So we are here at the Bay. And y'all, I'm telling y'all, this is a spot, and I'm glad that they sat down and we got a chance to hang out and chop it up. But I do have one last question. And this is a question for all three of y'all, and if you choose to answer it, and it's just a reflection question. What is something that you didn't really pay attention to when you were younger that you had to learn the hard way as you grew up, as y'all grew in this thing?
Great question. Who wants to go first on that one?
Trust. I trust these guys with everything. They trust me. I've never had friends like this. I've met this. I went to school with Sondra, so I knew her before Julius. But Julius has been cutting my hair since 96, 97 up at Victory Park. Yeah. So it's for him to have me come in here and help with things. Trust. For him to trust me like that, hey, I can't. Plenty of love for this couple here. Plenty of love. Plenty of love.
Thank you, Chris.
For me, I think I didn't know to value communication and emotional maturity as a child, and how and why those work together. But as an adult, it's essential to be able to be a good communicator, which requires a lot, because you can't just talk. You have to listen. You have to then also be able to understand and then respond to what you understood. And I think that it requires emotional maturity, because you're not going to like everything that's being spoken. You're not going to agree with it. You're not, so being able to move within what's being communicated, I think it requires emotional maturity, and you have to be able to communicate inside and outside of emotion. Like, you got to be able to communicate through the emotion. So
For sure.
Still working, but Nonetheless, I didn't know the value of it as a child, but I know that it's essential as an adult.
That's good.
Whew, those are good ones. Those are good ones. I don't know how I can come behind those. Um, I'll just have to say, a few different things come to mind. But, hard work, you know, hard work seems to pay off. Um, keeping your word. My dad used to always say, you can make your word worth more than gold. And this place uh, is an example of that. I had a certain amount of money that I was going to put toward this project, and halfway through the project, all that money was gone. you know, but because my word meant something, and I had good resources and relationships in place with a lot of great people, um, and people knew that when I said something, I was going to do it. Um, this place was able to be it. We're sitting in here and we're open for business now. And it's more so because, I was able to make my word worth something. When I tell you something, I'm going to make it happen, Um, and here we are,
What's your phrase, G?
you can eat an elephant one bite
At
at
a
a
time.
time.
For
We
sure.
were able to tackle this. If you would have told us that, it was going to be this week, this the next week, then it's going to be this problem, this resistance was going to rise up. I probably would have been like, you know what? I don't even know if I really want to go about that. I don't even know if we really want to mess with it. But, we took a bite out of the elephant every day and just kept on taking step by step. And, a lot of great people believed in us. Our members, our founding members here at the Bay, we are planning to treat them like royalty. That's why we call it the Royal Room. Because as soon as we reach the 50, we probably got 46 members now. As soon as we reach the 50, we are going to have a dinner here for the 50, called the 50, where it's basically an introduction,
Mm.
where everybody comes to the microphone and tells what it is that they do, what it is they bring to the table, what is it that I can do to help you build your business. I mean, we have doctors, lawyers, attorneys, bankers, lenders, pastors. We got a little bit of everything in our own back pocket, in our own resources. I'm hopeful that we are able to really, truly help each other in whatever craft or business that we find ourselves in. We can assist each other. That's something that people don't do enough of these days, is really helping each other. We've done a lot of things over the course of our business life in regards to just showing our hearts to help people. But what I found out is that you cannot receive blessings with a closed fist. You got to open up your hand. You got to open up to helping people. And that's what we've always done, is, helping whatever community that we find ourselves in. We try to better that community. This is all, we did 2.5 decades in Louisville, Kentucky with Big City Styles and the Soul Lounge. But now we just starting fresh and brand new over here in Clarksville, Indiana. We're basically trying to starting over for one, but we're trying to find our community again,
Mhm.
and we're trying to, and really in hopes that they find us. We're making a lot of noise over here, but there are certain days when people don't come in the door, and it kind of speaks to, this is a brand new baby. We had to curry the baby for the first trimester. We getting into the next trimester. The baby's kind of sitting up a little bit now, but it ain't crawling yet.
Right.
You know, I'm looking forward to the baby begin to walk and run. And at some point, I'm looking forward to this baby currying us. It has to take place at some point. We believe in it. We believe in this baby growing up and taking care of us. You know, uh, and God has already told us that it's going to happen. So here we are.
Here we are, and that is this thing called life in a nutshell.
Man, that.
It's this thing called life. One thing we know is that God is faithful to His plan, even when we're not.
That's right.
That's right.
And so, hey, this has been an amazing thing. Y'all got anything else y'all want to say to the people before we up out this
Right.
piece?
Hey, you said it yourself. This is a beautiful place, but what it looks like is not what's going to make the Bay special. What makes the Bay special is the people who come here, the blood, sweat, and tears that we put into this place. It's love that surrounds this place. We prayed over this place. Our hospitality, however you say the word, if I'm messing it all up.
Hospitality.
Thank you, baby. She's definitely enhanced my vocabulary since we've been married. But for the sake of the conversation, what it is that is going to make this place beautiful is not the looks of it. It's more so what it is that we're presenting the Clarksville, Indiana, Southern Indiana, and Louisville area with. We're going to bring entertainment. Nobody can touch us in the entertainment. Nobody can touch us in the realms of hospitality. Nobody's going to be able to touch us in opening up a beautiful place like this to the masses. We really know we have a beautiful product here. Like I said earlier, we're looking for our community to find us. Please spread the word and make an intentional effort to come over here and support the Bay Cigar Lounge. People come here all the time. Our reviews are incredible. People are constantly saying it. I cannot believe we have something this beautiful, a cigar lounge this magnificent, right here under our own nose, right here in Southern Indiana. We're 5 minutes, literally 5 minutes from downtown Louisville. If I left out here right now, I could be at the Omni Hotel in 5 minutes or less. And we're right here at 901 Eastern Boulevard, Clarksville, Indiana, 47129. And we've been sitting here an hour, and unfortunately, nobody's come in that door yet. It's still early. Our crowd generally comes in sometime after 6, but we open up most days at 12 noon, just for those who might want to come in, take a load off, enjoy a cigar, enjoy the comfort of this place. And we really believe that there's nothing quite like the Bay. That seems to be the mantra that's sticking. Our customer base has started to say it, and now we're kind of, lending to it. There's nothing quite like the Bay Cigar Lounge in Louisville or Southern Indiana. We welcome you all to come out and enjoy yourself.
So Clarksville, Milwaukee, Jeffersonville, Prospect, downtown Louisville, East End Louisville, South End Louisville, Floyd County, Crawford County, Corydon, brothers and sisters of the Leaf, come to the Bay and please put some smoke in the earth.
Yeah.
Put some smoke in the air. And not the smoke that you're talking about, you running up on somebody, some smoke in the actual air. This was a really, really, really great time, a really great conversation. And with that being said, hey, I love you like a play cousin. I'm out. Peace.